Good evening. My name is Sybil Mullen, and this is week 7's assignment, and my topic is rate of return. What is a rate of return? A rate of return, ROR, is the gain or loss of an investment over a certain period of time. In other words, the rate of return is the gain or loss compared to the cost of an initial investment, typically expressed in the form of a percentage. When the ROR is positive, it is considered a gain, and when the ROR is negative, it reflects a loss on the investment. The concept of rate of return. Internal rate of return is a quantitative capital budgeting technique that helps to evaluate and rank the alternative investment opportunities. This technique provides a discounting rate that equates to the sum of present value of all future net cash flows with its initial cash outflow, meaning that it is the rate at which the net present value of the target project or investment is zero. Why rate of return is important. The capital budgeting technique helps the management to rank the investment alternatives through their overall rates of return rather than their dollar amount or of net present value. Project with higher internal rate of return is considered a most favorable among all, provided that this technique operates only for the investments that have predetermined initial cash outlay that must be followed by one or more of the future cash flows. Another important factor of this technique is that it can favor an investment with a higher rate of return even if the dollar amount of return is minimal, because it does not evaluate the absolute size or return on investment. Calculation of net return. If you're wondering how to do it, I did find a way that you can use by Excel. Step 1, enter the initial cash outlay in the cell, like A1, as a negative amount. Step 2, enter the subsequent cash flows for each of the respective period into the cells, from 8.2 to like 8.4 for a 3-period cash flows under the initial investment as a positive amount. And then the final step, put the IRR function in the cell by typing equal IRR parentheses A1 semicolon A4 close parentheses in cell A5 and hit the enter button. The results will display the internal rate of return of the target project. That worked better for me than other ways because I'm not very good at math and I rely on Excel and formulas to help get me through sometimes. So for the entry-level professionals, are there those people in the organization that have little or no experience? Generally, these guys follow their seniors' instructions in capital budgeting and evaluates the projects on just quantitative basis and ignored all the qualitative factors associated to the projects. These professionals evaluate the investments that are expected to have less than 3 years life or those require insignificant capital. Generally, investments under the supervision of entry-level professionals are evaluated on the basis of number results provided by internal rate of return metric basis because their major concern is to maximize the profits in the short run. For mid-level professionals, they're the people that have some experience and are working in the middle level of management. These guys are instructed by the executive professionals of the organization. Their role is to evaluate the investment opportunity for short run as well as long run profitability purposes. Projects that have an expected life of 5 to 10 years are evaluated by these mid-level professionals. Furthermore, all the projects that have been evaluated by the entry-level professionals are required to be approved by mid-level professionals before any acceptance. Executive level professionals. They're the top level part of management. The role of these people is to make sure that the firm is moving in the right direction. These people design strategic plans for mid-level and entry-level professionals and allocate the firm's resources between them by drawing interrelationships among mid-level and entry-level professionals. Executive professionals are responsible for long-term investments that are expected to have a life over 10 years or that require significant capital. These professionals have to work hard on both quantitative numbers and qualitative factors to evaluate the alternatives, and even the numbers provided by internal rate of return are favorable. But the qualitative factor states that the project should not be continued. These professionals will either attempt to improve their qualitative factors or will abandon the proposed project because the ultimate goal of the executive professionals is to maximize the value of the firm in the long run. Ethical issues associated to internal rate of return analysis. The major issues associated to IRR are that it does not incorporate environmental factors such as interest rate in the economy and inflation rate. Also does not consider qualitative factors that may affect the investment or the company's profitability. These quality factors are non-financial data, such as sometimes the number provided by the IRR or the NVP are not attractive, but the proposed investment is still strategically important in order to maintain the firm's reputation as an industry leader in an innovative environment. Consideration of social concern while investing in long-term projects, such as making sure that the firm has adequate equipment to control pollution. Sometimes the proposed projects are considered to be in the best interest of the firm in the long run, but are rejected as they may hurt the firm's profitability position in the short run duration. And sometimes the manager of the firm still wants to continue with the projects, even though the results provided by qualitative as well as quantitative factors states that the project should not be continued. The best method to address these ethical issues is to conduct a post-audit that will help to compare the original capital budget and the original cash flows with what actually occurred. So after looking back a bit and an analysis, how did the expected data compared with the actual outcomes, and that encouraging managers by rewarding them for putting accurate capital budgeting. However, the problems where the managers rejecting the projects are the best in the long run, but may have negative impact in the short run, can be resolved by making a compensation plan that encourages them to consider the profitability of the firm beyond the short run period. One example of such compensation plan is stock options that will make the managers have more of an ownership stake in the firm, and it's another incentive plan for maximizing the value of the firm. References.